have a special place in my heart. Yeah. But what I thought I'd do today is talk about what you already know about writing, because as reading instructors, you know what good writing is. So I thought we'd start out with what you look for in writing when you're looking at students' papers, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So tell me, what makes good writing? I'm going to use Emily's board. What do you look for?
Organization.
Yes, definitely.
Correct grammar.
All the big things.
Staying on topic.
Yes, which is a special problem for our students sometimes, right? Staying on topic. They have a lot to say, but they'll just go with, yes.
Sentence complexity.
Yes.
I'm just having mine
They're
be right.
complex. I'm telling you. No.
My
They
fifth
don't know
grader
what they're
could write some
saying, but
better
they're
sentences.
complex, yes. Anything else?
Oh, yeah. Well, punctuation would be nice. but-
Yeah.
Punctuation would be nice. I'll put that with grammar. The mechanics of writing.
I know at elementary level, they call that conventions, all that together with the punctuation.
My guess was,
letters.
Yes,
Sentence
capitalizing,
complexity, yeah.
spelling, yes.
With organization and sentence complexity, you could probably add transitioning.
Yeah.
I agree, yes. We'll say connect ideas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I look for content to make sure they are writing for their target audience.
Yes. Appropriate language too, right? You know, that's, when you're thinking about audience.
Word choice.
Mm-hmm.
Slash C is not a word.
LOL?
How about you are the Lord? That would be great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Email, these are good, this is what we all do, right? We all do, nobody's a perfect writer, we all have to draft and redraft and redraft. Well, I'm gonna go to my next slide because I think that we probably talk about these, but we probably just told you. And as you can see, most of it is here, actually, you guys have gone beyond this slide to the next slide. But we have the organized thought, that's really important. We have the clear sentences, that's the correct grammar. The sentence complexity is actually something that, you know, we might not think about the first time we read. And so I'm glad that you all said that, because that's something on the next slide. And the transitions too. We've got meet the requirements of the assignment, because the biggest problem for a lot of our students is they'll write again and they'll just keep writing and they won't have a focus, and so they're not really meeting the requirements of the assignment. They're not doing what we ask them to do.
Becomes
They have to
verbose.
rewrite. Yeah. So, and the correct grammar and punctuation is there. Appropriate word usage is there. So we've got most of it. This one, you know, of course, have a clear main idea. That's the focus, right? So let me go further. If students do this, we're thinking probably they do it well enough. That's a C paper. That's meeting those standards, right, of everything that we've asked for. But then there's what makes the A paper, and that's where you guys already started talking. The substantive content. You know, you want to make sure that they're writing enough about the topic so that the meat of the paper makes the ideas clear, right, and that they are focused on their audience. The sophistication of the sentences is the sentence complexity, so you hit that. The paper unity, everything is on topic. The sentence coherence, we've got the transitions, so you guys went further. And then the appropriate in tone, that's also the language, right, and the word choice. So that's what makes a paper an A or a B. You know, they're going above and beyond. They're not just meeting the standards, they're giving us extra. So there's a sophistication to the paper and the writing. One of the things I was going to do before I woke up yesterday morning and said, I'm going to change the way I do the presentation. I changed it yesterday. I was going to actually offer you some examples of paragraphs to grade, just to see, you know, what you would give the A paper and the B paper and the C paper. And I still have that, but I thought it would be a more useful exercise if after we go through all of these things that I'm going to show you next, I give you those, and then I post on Blackboard. Emily's already told me I could do this. I'll post how I marked the paper and the grades I gave them, and you can just compare what you do to what's on Blackboard. Okay. And then if you have any questions, you can ask Emily.
Could we get a copy of this PowerPoint? Could we get?
Yes, we're going to
Okay.
post that on Blackboard, and I think we're going to post, Department Head Cooper is doing a good job filming this. We're going to post the video up too. So the next slide talks about let's grade a paper together, but we're going to skip that. I want to show you today basically some errors that can cause confusion in student writing and that can cause awkwardness. And I'm giving you the symbols that we use, like fragments as a frag and fused sentences or FS, and comma splices or CS, so that you will understand how to mark basic things, okay? And you have some comfort with it. So these mistakes, they're sentence boundary errors. They indicate that students don't understand where to stop when they start writing an idea, right? They'll either go on and on and on and have a fused sentence or a comma splice, or they'll stop too soon and have a fragment. And so their ideas may be really good, but it causes confusion and makes it difficult to read the paper.
Hello and welcome to this part of the course. My name is Kay Ruth, and I'll be taking you through fused sentences, comma splices, and fragments. These three types of errors are called sentence boundary errors because usually if you make a sentence boundary error, you're either running from one sentence to another without putting in an appropriate stop, or you are stopping too soon so that whatever you have written isn't a complete idea. Either way, when you're finished with this part of the course, you should feel more comfortable recognizing fused sentences, comma splices, and fragments. And as writers, you should feel more comfortable avoiding these mistakes or going back and fixing the error if you make one of these mistakes. In order to be a good writer, you really have to be a good reader. Understanding sentence boundary errors means that you follow the punctuation as it is written on a page. Following the punctuation when you read helps you remember to put in the correct punctuation when you write. Sometimes as college students, we're so busy, we want to just get through the assignment. And so we read without thinking. We don't follow the punctuation, we just race to the end. If you slow down and pay attention to periods, question marks, and commas, you'll start to remember more of what you've read because you'll start to understand more of what you've read. And as you follow the punctuation and hear the complete ideas, you'll become a better writer who doesn't make sentence boundary errors. Let's get started, okay? Hello and welcome. We're going to get high tech today. As we talk about fused sentences, I'm going to use two markers. Those are my visual aids. When we have a fused sentence, basically what we have done is we have written one sentence as symbolized by my first marker, and we have then kept going without putting any end punctuation like a period or a semicolon or a question mark, and we fused another sentence onto that sentence. technically the sentences are correct in terms of the idea, we can understand the idea in the first sentence, and we can understand the idea in the second sentence. But when we write a complete idea as a sentence, it should end in a period, or a question mark, or a semicolon, or some other correct form of end punctuation. If we have absolutely nothing between our two sentences, we have a fused sentence, and we need to put end punctuation in to break the sentences apart, or we need to figure out what words and punctuation we can use to keep the two ideas together. Please watch the rest of this video to find out more about how to recognize and then fix fused sentences. Remember, as you watch the video, you may pause, rewind, forewind, stop, or rewatch as many times as you wish. Hello and welcome. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about comma splices before you watch the rest of the video. A comma splice basically means that we have two sentences stuck together just as we had our fused sentence. Let me do the visual aid again. This is our fused sentence. If we have a comma splice, that means that we have the same sentences as a fused sentence, but we've got a comma where the first sentence ends and the second sentence begins. Just like with the fused sentence, our job is to break these two sentences apart so that our reader can read them and understand the ideas in each one. We need to put in the appropriate end punctuation to break them apart, or we can figure out what words and punctuation we can use to keep the two sentences together. As you watch the rest of this video, please remember that you can rewind, forewind, pause, stop, and rewatch as many times as you like. Enjoy.